Hello everyone, this is the second podcast episode of Malospeaks, and I'm going to have a very, very special guest today, the one, the only, Lois Samuels, aka my mother. How are you? Oh, no, I have to do it again. No, okay. All right, fine. All right, so my mother has an incredible story, especially when it comes down to being able to reinvent herself in a multiplicity of different careers, venues, genres, whatever you want to call it. And I want to be able to share her story for some people. But more importantly, she is a Taurus woman, born May 16th. Let's hear about it. I want to be able to hear your story, or at least have the people hear your story, and maybe say a bit about yourself.
I don't know where to start.
Yeah, where?
Well, I'm a Jamaican girl. No, I don't want to say that. I was born in Jamaica. I mean, I've always had a connection to earth. Like, I feel I need to be in nature, I need to see, but at the same time I need to see the world. And it's almost so conflicting because I love to feel secure and stable in a space, yet I'm always interested to just see all of what's out there. So it's like I'm a bird and I'm a tree at the same time.
Yeah.
But I just love how life unfolds. And I think, I would say, one thing I love about myself is that fire that allows me to always see all the possibilities. You know, I've not yet been content in just following one single path.
I think a lot of that fire also comes down to your birthday as well, too. I think about May 16, if you guys don't know, the number 16 within the Tarot Association is the Tower card. It's almost a Tower of Babel, things being immediately created, struck down, recreated, struck down, recreated. It's almost a constant test, but also a constant upheaval and growth within the psychology of any individual, which is why I think I've noticed within your story, which I want to hear more about, is the constant reinvention and also the constant drive and the sudden and spontaneous movement towards something. Because if you guys don't know, my mother has been a model, she's been a ceramicist, she's been working even in a great company right now. She is. No, but she's doing all these things at once, and she's been able to juggle all these really monumentous things and all these monumentous achievements, even being in Vogue at what age?
How old was I when I was on the cover of Vogue? That would have been 1997. You do the math.
1997, you were 25 or 24.
Yeah, because I didn't start modeling very young. I mean, I started when I was over 20, which is unusual because most people start in their teens, you know? And
even then, that's from a farm in Jamaica, or a very small farm in Jamaica.
I grew up in Jamaica, and then there was this one point where I just felt I always want to see the world. I want to see the world. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I love music. I love dance. I love fashion. I loved fashion. And I always remember there was a little pharmacy in the little town in the square where I lived in Santa Cruz. And I went into the pharmacy and I saw Essence magazine, and I believe there was Rush Limbaugh on the cover. And I looked at it and I'm like, I'm going to be on the cover of this magazine, and I just want to see the world. You know, like, there's all these different things. I want to just have some kind of experience that just takes me all over to see things.
And I think that's beautiful too, because even then, when I look into the full numerology or the life path, you're 5. Right? 5 is all about travel, being able to go out there and have fresh and new experiences and not really being restrained to one specific place. I think for a lot of people, because I have 5 energy, I'm born on the 14th of September. And I've been kind of bouncing around. I was in London when I was a kid. You guys said, no, we're going to go to Jamaica for a while.
I mean, you couldn't help it.
Couldn't help it. Yeah, it wasn't even my choice. Like, it was like, and then you're like, okay, you're going to be in New York. I didn't want to be in New York after a while. I'm going to go to San Diego. I'm going to be in California. I'm in California for a while. I'm looking
but how you got to California too? Because like it wasn't something.
I think that was something that you said, actually, right?
I mean, I had this dream, and you know, I saw you in this place, and it was like you were driving a car. I was in the back. The light was so beautiful. I was like, oh, this is California. You need to put all your college applications. California. And look at that. I think you got into you got into
I got into Pepperdine and University of San Diego.
You were on the list for USC.
Scholarships,
For USC. Was it
the short list, or was it the wait list?
I forgot what they called it.
Something happened, but still, it was always going to be California.
It was going to be California.
And then I was in California for because I was in San Diego for like barely a year, and then COVID.
And then in Laguna,
and then LA for 3 years.
and then London.
And then I was in Marseille for a while. I was in Morocco. I will not say my opinions live on Morocco. I'm okay with that.
But you had to do it.
Yeah, no, I had to do it. I had to do it.
And I feel you're in every place for a reason, for a
100%.
season. You can't fight it. It's all like lessons.
It always teaches you something. I learned so much from my experience because that social and that permeable fact of having a lot of people who are around you, who are very present with your life. And that was the first time I was alone. Well, no, I've been alone before in a country, but
but then sometimes we are,
but with a completely different culture, because it was
language,
even in California, I can go out and I can talk to someone, and maybe I can meet someone new, even if you weren't there when I first went there, you know. But that was a completely different experience. But going back to you, I would say, like I said, you were a model. You were someone who was someone who's able to do art. Can you speak about your art and your experience with art? Because even then, to give you guys some more context, my mother is a Taurus Sun, Scorpio Moon, essentially almost a full moon at birth. Oh. It's one of the most heightened forms. I know. It's one of the most heightened forms of creativity out there in terms of the moon phases. Even then, Michael Jackson, I believe, was one of the greatest, genuinely one of the greatest artists, person not so much, but artists out there. Many people who are very famous, who have a lot of things going for them, are born under full moons. And I also notice a great deal of creativity with these people. I'm born under a balsamic, but still it's kind of a comparable, different meanings and different aspects. So can you explain more about your creative and artistic journey?
I just feel like, from I was a kid, I wanted to create. I was doing ballet, I was doing art. I really wanted
piano too, right?
And I did the piano. I was playing for my graduation. I was in classical music. We had a teacher coming down. I went to a girls' school called Hampton, and we had this teacher coming down from England to teach us classical music. And I always wanted to do ceramic art. I've done painting. I've had shows with that before, and then there just weren't the facilities available where I was to get that done back then. And so it wasn't until about 2.5 years ago that came in my life. And it's just been amazing. It's just been amazing.
And what was that process like, being a girl from a small town in Jamaica, where some of those facilities may not be available as well too? What drove you to go to where you went to? I believe you went to America or London first when you were...
I came to the States. Actually, we did. I was discovered by a scout in Jamaica. So I came on a short trip. We did London, Paris, and New York. And I mean, nothing happened. But there was a song saying I was too sexy. I'm too sexy. That song from New York, And I just kept singing that, I was too sexy at that moment for that space, even though I was not.
Well, actually...
I wasn't, it just wasn't happening. And my look wasn't something, my look wasn't one that was really... the one that we're going for.
And you had the short hair back then, right?
I didn't have short hair then. When I did the Calvin Klein campaign, that's when I had my hair cut.
Well, it's funny how, you were kind of one of the first people to adopt that. And then retroactively now it's a lot more it's a lot more popular.
I feel it's so beautiful because, as time, I'm so into just natural beauty, and not that you have to cut your hair to show your natural beauty, but I feel so many women depend on having weaves or perms, and I hated having my hair permed when I was a kid. It was a problem. Because it was religious. Every Saturday, women go to the hair salon. Every Sunday, you go to church. I would just resist that. I would resist it so much. So, it's just like all these things happened. My career in fashion was amazing, and it just opened other opportunities to me. I wrote a book. I wrote 2 books. I did some
Jamaica Through My Eyes.
And it's just that I'm a bit of a dreamer, so then I come up with all these ideas.
And literally a dreamer too, by the way, guys. I mean, we're not getting to the spiritual stuff just yet. We're going to get to it soon. But just having the inspiration, the aspiration, inspiration from whatever sources out there, and the aspirations to be able to go out and say, hey, I want to go discover this, And even then, there are a lot of, what I've noticed at least, is that there are, kind of tying back into the numerology of things, a lot of quick endings, but also fast upheavals in your life too. Did you want to go over that? I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. But
I wouldn't know where to begin because it's just been so many.
Because even then,
and it's still happening.
Even the spark going from a girl in Jamaica at 16 or 17 saying, I just don't want to be here. There has to be a way for me
Jamaica
to leave.
is amazing, but it's just this thing. My mom had these encyclopedias as well in her bookcase. And I recall, like, Saturday is hair day and cleaning day, right? Mm-hmm. And when it's cleaning day and hair day, if I had a moment, I would go into the bookcase and I would just open up and I look, oh, I want to wake up in this country and I go here. Mm-hmm. And there were certain things, even about London. Yeah. I would just sit for 5 minutes and just look at an image. Mm-hmm. And it was always on a double-decker bus. I was on a double-decker bus. And just wanting to hop on one and just know that, okay, I'm here tonight and then tomorrow in Paris. And look at the Eiffel Tower or look at certain sculptures and just places, you know. And I feel there's one area I haven't experienced as much as, and that is Africa. Yeah. You know, like there are certain ways that, you know, I just observed how different cultures lived, and I've not yet felt that, because the closest I've been to was in Nigeria when I went as a designer. I forgot to talk about my clothing line. Oh my God. Yeah, there's just so much. But yeah, I wouldn't
so guys,
know
I'm saying it's
wouldn't know where to begin.
Multiple things. I think,
and then I had this baby.
Yeah, guilty as charged.
And having Malo and motherhood, I'm just so thankful for this experience, and I've seen how much Malo has evolved over the years, and how he thinks. I love how he processes things and adapts to change. You adapt to change very well. Like some kids, you know, if they're in a certain school and they have to leave, it's like, I don't want to leave my friends or anything like that.
Oh, I never.
We're like, boom, boom, boom. Like,
that's,
wherever you go, you're going to meet new friends.
I think that's so interesting that you say that, because it's like, when I really look at my journey too, I've had to be able to go to so many different places in terms of just even different schools of thought. You know, there were times where, you know, of course I grew up in New York City, right? Mm-hmm. New York City was predominantly Jewish, predominantly a very specific set mindset. On the Upper West Side. On the Upper West Side where I lived as well, too. It's a very diverse city. Yeah, but in terms of the actual even schools I went to, right? Delta, which was my middle school, predominantly Jewish as well, too. Even then I went to Jewish summer camp and all these different things. Yeah. It was very interesting to see that school of thought, and that completely juxtaposed to University of San Diego, where it was a Catholic university. Yeah. Being able to see how there's these minor permutations and different ways how people think in different cultures. Of people that you would never really pay attention to outwardly, but you notice that this group of people has a very, very specific way of thought, and it's very much tied into their culture, and you can learn something from that, and you can also see that, and it almost shapes you in a certain way as well too. When I went to University of San Diego, there were some things I learned, especially about how important Thanksgiving is, and I never gave a crap about Thanksgiving. I still don't. I still don't.
Every day is Thanksgiving.
I still don't. But
and just how it's built into American history.
Of course, I mean, and the history of it. Yeah. But still, it's like I was like, just to see something from a different person's perspective was a staple of my life. I've met so many different types of people doing what I work on and doing what, like, you know, just my simple readings and understanding where there are so many individual permutations of life. And it's so important to not stay confined to just one thing. Yeah. Because even just as a person, I'm always trying to rediscover myself and rediscover who I am and how I feel.
And the thing about it, when I sat here, you're not the same person I just sat with. Mm-hmm. Every time you breathe in, you're a different person by the time you breathe out.
But I think there are a lot of people who aren't like that, you know?
Everyone chooses.
Everybody chooses it, but I think that's one of the most defining features of my life, where I've been so many different people in terms of my expression, or in terms of my maturity, or in terms of even my literal career, right? Yeah. Where it's like, okay, well, I'm always trying to search, similar to you.
I mean, you studied what? Neuroscience.
For a year.
Behavioral science, that was what you were doing.
For a year,
and then before then, you focused on your music, but music was always so important to you. And then, for this chapter, this has just astrology reading, this has come into your life, which you've embraced and which you're doing exceptionally well with. I'm so proud of you. And, you'll see where the chapters go. You just, keep moving forward. And
I actually have a question, because it's something I always wonder about when it comes down to Taurus. Is it important that you have a plan or a spontaneity? Do you not like spontaneity? I notice a lot of Taurus tend to want to be able to mentally map things out, take some time, take some effort, almost structure.
Well, you can answer that question.
Okay, well, I think I know.
Stability is, I love feeling